Welcome to Sharpen the Axe. Explore the bleeding edge of guitar and bass gear. Discover a sound uniquely your own and cut through the noise. With your hosts, Eric Lucero and Paul Berezetsky.
Well, hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Sharpen the Axe. What's up, Paul?
Not much.
How was your Thanksgiving?
Good. I got stuffed like a turkey.
How are we supposed to take that one? Oh, okay.
Any way you want.
Thanks for the clarification. Awesome. I hope everyone's holiday out there was awesome as well. Now we're back with a Fender Squire day today. So why don't we hop to it here? We'll start with the instruments. In Paul's hands there is from the Offset series that we covered a couple episodes ago. One of the ones I wish we had then, but luckily we have it now. It's the Mustang 90. And in that tradition of guitars that never were but should have been, we're very stoked that Fender has this version now. So like the Mustangs, and it is a short scale with two MP90 pickups, which is Fender's P90, a three-way switch, a hardtail bridge, volume and tone. It's simple and it's nice and beastly. It goes for $499.99 over there at Pitbull Audio, where you can come in, visit me, and check it out for yourself. And we can also that's Olympic white right there, nice and pretty. We can also get in silver or Torino red. Also has a 9.5-inch radius and that modern C-shaped neck. In my hands right here, our other test subject, and this is one of my new favorite guitars. I really want one. This is actually a Squire, the vintage modified Baritone Jazzmaster. So this has a 30-inch scale, comes like a bass 6. It comes tuned A to A, and it's got two Seymour Duncan designed single coil Jazzmaster pickups, three-way switch, volume, tone, and a hardtail bridge, so it's nice and simple. And it's got some cool other features on it, like I love the rosewood necks, rosewood fretboards on a maple neck here, and I love the block inlays.
Yeah, very cool.
And the bound fretboard just gives it a sexy look. We're also covering today the Fender Bass Breaker series. We have two of them here with us. Oh, real quick, the Baritone Jazzmaster here goes for $449.99. But on to the Bass Breakers, we have two in here. In front of me right there is the Bass Breaker 15. Goes for $599.99. It's a 15-watt, has three 12AX7s and two EL84s, which actually is the big reason for the Bass Breaker, its difference between other Fender amps, which usually have 6L6 or 6V6 power tubes. These come with EL34s or 84s, depending on the model. There's a variety in the series. But the Bass Breaker 15 has, those three 12AX7s, two EL84s, a gain control, a gain structure control, bass, middle, treble, master, reverb, master volume, that is, and a bright switch. Can
you explain that, the difference between the gain control and the gain stage control?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So what's kind of cool that they did here was, like on any amp, you have a gain control, but they separated the gain into three structures: low for clean, medium for about medium breakup, and if you want to get a crunch out of it, a high gain structure, which is just a three-way selectable switch right there on top next to the gain control.
Is that similar to like a wattage selector? Or does it work differently?
It might function that way, to be honest. I actually don't know. I almost think of it like on a AC30 or on some of the Marshalls. You know, have high low inputs.
Okay, right.
So lower gain, medium gain, high gain.
That makes a lot more sense than, unplugging your cable through like 3 or 4 different plugs.
Yeah, or channel jumping, which actually one of the other ones in the Bass Breaker series conveniently has high low inputs and a channel jumped one, so you don't have to do some crazy wiring or patch cabling.
Yeah,
but it's a pretty bitchin' amp, man. It also has a direct out, which kills the power amp. cabinet simulator out of that direct out, so it's a great studio amp, right?
That's very cool.
They designed these pretty versatile, and I dig them, man. I dig them. You can also select your impedance, 4, 8, 16 ohms, so you can match it to whatever cab you have. We have it actually going with the BB112 extension cab. It's in another room.
Is that what the model is supposed to emulate, or is it a specific cab that it...
To be honest, I couldn't find anything on what that cabinet simulation, what it exactly it emulates, if it's a 112, 212. Maybe we can get that answered a little later, hopefully. But that 112 that we have this plugged into, 70-watt Celestion G12, G12V. It's a V-type speaker. I guess it's a new series, but it's ceramic magnet. We'll see how it sounds in a little bit. That's what I'm plugged into with the Baritone Jazzmaster. And the one that you are plugged into, my friend, is one of our favorites at the shop, actually. It's the 18/30 combo. It's a 212 combo. You can come into Pitbull Audio and check it out. It goes for $849.99. It's a 2-channel with 4 EL84s, 2 12AX7 tubes in it. And on channel 1, which is the 30-watt channel, it's got volume, bass, middle, and treble controls. And on the channel 2, which is the 18-watt channel, it's just volume and tone, old school, simple, cool.
Yeah.
And the rear has a foot switch input, main and extension speaker outputs, and a post power amp line out for direct. Nice.
And this is what it sounds like.
Yeah, go ahead and give that one a shot.
And we're on the clean channel, right?
Yeah, right now we are on that 30-watt channel.
Clean channel, and I'm in the middle position on the guitar with the both pickups. This seems to be kind of the cleanest kind of...
Yeah, splitting the difference between the two.
Neck. Bridge.
Nice. So how? First off, actually, with the guitar, how have you been digging this Mustang 90 thus far?
I like it. It's nice and chunky. The neck is nice and chunky.
Yeah.
Snappy. You know, gotta love a rosewood fingerboard for that.
There we go.
I dig it.
Yeah, it's. I didn't know what to expect initially with Fender made P90s, but I'm actually liking them. They come on some. I forgot what the model is exactly. I should have remembered that, but a Tele Thin Line is where I first saw those P90s, and I dug it. But I'm really digging it in the solid body here on the Mustang. So, Paul, with checking out the Bass Breaker here, anything strike you? What strikes you first about its difference from your usual Fender amp?
Well, for sure, the look. I really dig the kind of dark gray tweed. It looks sharp. I like it.
Yeah, it's definitely almost have a semi-industrial look to it, and some people kind of just want that classic black Tolex or brown Tolex or tweed wrapped Fender, but you need something new every now and again, and I like it. I like the look of them a lot.
Yeah, me too. And I think it kind of does a good combination of like a classic look and a modern look.
Yeah.
You can kind of almost can't tell what era it's supposed to be from.
Right, yeah. And I mean, you as a company, you got to push forward at some point, and rather than just releasing another lacquered tweed, it's cool that they gave something different. I like the small detail, but I like that metal faceplate with the plain Bass Breaker just right below the fender. I dig that look. How about we check out the 18-watt side of it?
Sure. And we can't run it too hot because with this one, since it's a combo amp, we have to keep it in the same room as the studio, as our mics.
Yeah.
So if we crank this up too much, we're going to just destroy everything around here. So just a little bit of gain on here. Too much.
Little readjustment, but here we go.
So hot.
And while you're adjusting that, I know one of the ideas on the 1830 that we really dug at the shop was one side supposed to be kind of brown facey and the other side supposed to be Fender blackface-ish. And if I could be wrong, but at least in my ears, the 30-watt side was sort of chimey and blackface-ish, like your normal deluxe or tweed from that era. Mm-hmm. And the 18-watt side that you're on now, I think, is a little bit more along the lines of the brown face. I could be wrong, but...
That's so loud.
There we go. It's definitely a cool, versatile amp, and you can switch between the two channels live with a foot switch in the back. But I think once people really start checking out the Bass Breaker 1830, they're really gonna love what they hear. And it's a nice departure for a throatier sound with the. I don't know about throatier, but a different sound with the EL84s on there.
I'd say throaty, sure. And one of the things that surprised me about it when I was lugging it in here is it's not that heavy. It's a fairly good size amp, and I was ready for it to be a backbreaker, but it's a bass breaker, not a backbreaker. It's really not that heavy. I was surprised.
Yeah, and it gets all that much better, when they design something that can be lightweight and you're not gonna slip a vertebrae trying to load it in and out of your truck at home.
Yep.
Or on gig, I should say. Now let's give this Baritone Jazzmaster a try through the 15 here. So I don't know if I mentioned it before, but from factory, the Baritone Jazzmaster comes tuned A to A on that 30-inch scale. But I have it on the gain structure, the low, and a little bit over noon on the gain, and everything is at noon for now. That's on the neck pickup for this one. So let's go to the medium here.
Beautiful reverb on that, too.
Right, yeah, and I think it is just your standard Fender spring on this, and it's just right. I like it a lot.
Yeah, I do, too.
So we'll go on bridge on this one. Quick note on this, it's kind of similar, some would notice, to a Bass 6, which was an instrument Fender put out initially, 61 to 75, a 30-inch scale instrument with 6 strings tuned E to E, and it was pretty much so guitarists who couldn't find a bass player could do a little bit on their own, and especially like spaghetti westerns, you hear a lot of that sort of tic-tacky, or... Like from that 60s era, you'll hear some of that in the soundtracks and on surf music. But plenty of people use it through time, like the Smiths. I'm sorry, not the Smiths, but well, maybe they used one too. But the Cure for sure is where I first heard Bass 6 and just fell in love with the sound, But I like what they did on this, just a different take on it, and I'll the Jazzmaster single coil pickups, at least in my opinion, are much better for this baritone sound, although you could always get some aftermarket ones for your bass 6, but they did it right here on the vintage modified baritone Jazzmaster. When you do chords on it, it sounds a lot much better note definition than on at least again in my opinion than on the pickups that come on the bass 6s. Actually, this would be a great instrument for the heavy players out there, the detuned guys. So let's go into the high gain. And just, there's a bright switch also on this amp, but instead of hitting that first, I'm going to just turn up the treble a little. And it's on the bridge pickup. So this thing is very bitchin' sounding. It's got nice guttural punch to it, and that single coils on low tuned strings, especially heavy gauge like on here, is just a whole lot of fun. So had you ever messed much or with a bass 6 before?
Just like in a store a couple of times. I really dig playing them, but not a lot of experience, and definitely not like at a gig or anything or with a band. I don't know much about them. Have those been around in the 60s?
Yeah, not this model here, but the bass 6 I think was introduced 61 to 75 initially.
Is that what they actually used on those Western kind of tunes?
Yeah, at least on the soundtrack stuff. I mean, that's kind of what it was. One of the things it was big for. That spaghetti Western. Well, I won't play that again, but I almost forgot we already went through that. But in the 80s and probably at the end of the 70s and up through the 90s, well, hell, till now, a lot of alternative guys, like I mentioned, The Cure earlier, picked them up. Mm-hmm. I know New Order, too. Peter Hook was playing, not a Fender, but a different bass 6 sort of thing. So a lot of those post-punk guys and picked it up for that deep sound. Mm-hmm. And if you haven't picked up a bass 6 through a big, clean amp with a chorus pedal, you've really missed out on life. Definitely worth trying.
And I guess they sell like specific sets of strings for this. You don't have to like try and mix and match.
Oh no, plenty of makers. Labella, Ernie Ball, them two for sure make bass 6 sets, and even in a couple different gauge sets, so you can adjust it to what you like. But yeah, you don't have to buy individual strings and mix and match to get it there. But at Pitbull, we definitely sell a lot of the Ernie Ball ones, but a lot of the guys to eliminate fret noise are picking up the flat wound versions from Labella. Nice. So if you are one of those players, and want to try something different, we got the Labella sets around. Now, I'm on the high gain. Let's roll back to medium. And this is with the bright switch on, so... I'll try with the bright switch off here, too. Ooh, I like that reverb decay at the end.
Yeah.
But going back to the amps here, Fender has really done something cool with how versatile this is. And I mean, how many reissues, and I'm sure they could do plenty, but of redoing the same amps with a 6L6 or 6V6 power tubes. So they went for a different idea here with the EL34s and 84s, a little bit more of that British sound, but it's got enough gain. If you want to play heavy, it can do clean very well.
Yeah.
But I'm surprised at the price point, how much is on there. The direct out, two speaker outs, impedance select, and the effects loop on them too. And there's also other models in that range. Their Bassbreaker 15 also comes in a combo version, which goes for $649.99. It's a 1x12 combo with all the same features as the 15-watt head in front of me. They have what they call the 007 head, goes for $399.99. 7 watts, has gain, bass, mid, treble, master volume, and a treble boost switch. A line out like on the others, and two 12AX7s, one EL84. So if you need a little good 7-watt studio head, which is getting popular or has been popular for a while now, that's an option. The granddaddy on this series or flagship, however you want to put it, is the Bassbreaker 45 combo. That's $999.99. A 2x12 combo, that's 45 watt. And that one, actually, you kind of mentioned the variable variable wattage earlier. That can go from 1 to 45 watt.
Nice.
And
that's so handy.
Right, yeah. It's, all the more versatility. You're playing a nice big open room, keep that at 45. You want to use it in the studio and either get high gain at low wattage to get that crunch. I mean, it's for under $1,000. That's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. And that one is the one that has the normal input, bright input, and then a jumped input. That also has the a normal volume, bright volume, the output control, which is the variable wattage, treble, mid, bass, presence, main and extension speaker outputs. That's 2 separate outputs. 3 12AX7s and 2 EL34s on that. And they have a 45 head as well, which goes for $899.99. Now, with all the combos and the extension cabs, they are semi-open. So instead of a complete closed back like on on most of the, say, Mesa Boogies, or a complete open, we can't turn one around for the camera, but it's got like 2 almost port-looking cutouts.
Yeah.
Which between the tight bassness of or tight bass response on a closed back cabinet or the sweet openness of an open back cabinet, hits it right in between. So something different. I don't know if they have made semi-open back cabs before. I'm sure they have somewhere. And yeah, actually, now that I think about it, the 112 and 212 extension cabinets. The 212 is the BB 212. Both semi-open back.
Very cool. Have you tried running something with humbuckers through them?
In the store, you know what, I haven't actually, now that I think about it. Everything I've been picking up lately has single coils of some sort, because I've just been missing having a single coil guitar. Because even my Strat has 3 humbuckers in it now.
What's the point of that?
I don't know. I did JB Junior, a little 59 in the neck, and you can make all those arguments for a mini humbucker isn't as good as a full size, but it worked for me, and I love my Strat, so you are not going to change my mind. And I
like those. I like the mini humbuckers.
Right? Yeah. I mean, even on my main Ibanez, it is a DiMarzio Fast Track 2, so a dual rail humbucker. All good. Whatever you choose out there, there's so many options. But yeah, I haven't ran humbuckers through it. I know the guys in the store have, and especially with the 1830, they've loved pretty much everything they put into it.
Very nice amp. Great.
Right, yeah.
Good tone. It's one of the things that normally when we test stuff out in here, we run it through my Mesa Boogie F50, which is a great amp. Probably like one of the most pristine, clean tones that I've played. So I love just throwing a bunch of pedals into it. But my problem with it is it's so clean. Like it's hard to, on a clean channel, like if I want a little bit of grit, it's hard to get it unless you crank it to like all 50 watts.
Yeah.
This has that, it's fairly at a moderate level here on the clean, but if you dig into the attack on the strings a little bit,
there you go. Yeah.
You get that grit, so it's very responsive to your playing, which I love. I want to be able to control that, physically with my fingers.
Yeah.
Just dig in and get a little bit more balls out of it.
And that was something I didn't really learn about until I got like to around college age with the dynamic response of an amp, because I just play a kid growing up and playing noisy music, punk and hardcore and stuff like that.
just set it to 11 and forget it.
Yeah, pretty much, and attacking the strings at full strength. But it's now that I appreciate it more, I can appreciate the response in amps like the Bass Breakers here. So good job, Fender, and thank you for that.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I love seeing is a responsive amp that you mostly, just do as much as you can with your fingers, with your pickups, volume control, all of that. And because I'm a notorious tap dancer, and the more you could give me where I'm not jumping on pedals, the better.
There we go. We'll be back soon.
This is Sharpen the Axe. We're going to take a quick break. This is EnterTalk Radio. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
This is Jackie Baritone from Jackie's Groove. Come join me weekly on my journey through the music business as I take you behind the velvet rope, interviewing industry notables such as Al Di Meola, Michael McDonald, and Al Jarreau, to name but a few. Listen to their stories on being in the studios recording #1 hits and onto the stages throughout the globe. Allow me to be your music historian. You can hear me live every Monday at 2 p.m. and every Wednesday at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time or 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com. Ready to get your groove on?
Hi, I'm Tim Dolbear, the host of Sound Experience on EnterTalk Radio. Each week, I talk with top professional audio engineers, producers, musicians, and the manufacturers that make the tools that we use in the studio each and every day. From capturing the perfect take to mastering your final release, and the tools and how the pros use them, we are going to dive deep into their process and learn from their experience. I look forward to you joining us each week on Sound Experience with me, your host, Tim Dolbear.
Hey, it's Tracy Smith
and Beth Venus
of Girls Talk Rock right here on the EnterTalk Radio Network.
Every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Pacific.
Okay, Beth, they know that, but we want you to know that the industry pro's choice is Silver Tiger Production.
SDP is a full-service production agency offering sound, lighting, installations, talent buying, staffing, backline equipment rental, and sales. Kapow!
It's everything in the entertainment performance industry. It's all that. SilverTigerProduction.com.
Welcome to Sharpen the Axe. Explore the bleeding edge of guitar and bass gear. Discover a sound uniquely your own and cut through the noise. With your hosts, Eric Lucero and Paul Berezetsky.
All right. Welcome back.
Welcome back, guys.
So I also wanted to mention real quick before we start that we will be having a contest with Mission Engineering for Christmas. We're going to be giving away 2 pedals. We will announce that more in the future. and we'll give you details as soon as we got it all organized. And we're also going to be having more events at Pitbull Audio. We just had Stephen Pfister in on Tuesday, and then we had a Pioneer DJ event last night. But we are going to be bringing in some artists from ESP, hopefully from Ibanez, and plenty more, especially as NAMM comes around.
And if you're not familiar with Mission Engineering, a good place to find out more is to go to EnterTalkRadio.com, go to Sharpen the Axe, and it was our second episode, I believe, with Paul Shedden of Mission Engineering, and we've tested the pedals. We kind of played around with them. We got a great history and background of the company. So if you want to find out what that's all about and if it's worth your while, that's the show to check out. And hint, there might be a pop quiz.
It might be a trivia challenge. You guys never know.
It's not just a giveaway. You gotta learn something.
Yeah, we're not gonna make it easy on you guys. Well, maybe, you never know. We might be forgiving. We'll figure it out as we go. Now, Paul, we kind of touched on it a little bit earlier, but the big difference on these new Fenders is that they are on the power tube side. They're EL34 or 84. Again, given that sort of English crunch on the side. So, who would you see using these amps?
Well, definitely, since what I was talking about in the previous segment, that dynamic response and that gritty kind of sound. If you're into blues, this would probably be right up your alley. Yeah. Maybe not so much like if like a really like super clean Prince type funk, maybe it might start gritting out too much on you. But when I play funk, I like a little nasty grit in there as well. So funk, blues, whatever. The clean channel on it, just the kind of like chord picking stuff I was doing sounded beautiful to me too. So
yeah, it's definitely got a very articulate sound, and I haven't had a chance to try the 45s at all, but between the Bassbreaker 15 head and the 1830 that we keep in the showroom over there at Pitbull, we've been having a lot of fun with them. As soon as they came in, we were all over them. And Fender did a video that had Dave Koenig from the Killers, who else? Dave Navarro, and a variety of players checking it out, and they're definitely seem to be going for the modern guitarist and a bit of the indie side. And I mean, there's plenty of tones in there for that. I mean, as we saw like on the 3 gain structures on the 15, you can do pretty jazzy cleans if you wanted to.
And obviously we can't crank up the overdrive channel in here because we're in the studio with the amp, but is it comparable to the sound of the head?
When the couple times I have had like the store empty to crank up and not deafen my customers, it's got a very cool natural breakup. Like, I mean, it's say with a Fender Twin, especially the older ones, they're so deafeningly loud. Yeah. But when you do break them up, it's a beautiful thing. That big chimey, full articulate sound, and the Bassbreaker 1830 here, when I did get to crank it. Did have it. It just a little more. I mean, not that Fender Twins Deluxes, the classic amps. Not that they don't have any body to them, but with that English voiced power section, it's got a little bit more of that low grit to it that I kind of like. And as you said, it'd be a great blues amp. But it's like, say, a big like a arena rock band like say the Killers, like Dave, who was in the video. And I could definitely imagine him just this thing cranked to damn near 11 and getting a big beautiful sound out of it. But there definitely seem to be going for the younger market, and I don't know if anyone has picked it up and is using it on tour yet, but I would definitely like to see the 45s and the 1830s at a good sized venue just opened up for a full set, and I'm sure they'd sound gorgeous. Yeah. And I was a bit confused because in 2001 to 2003 or 4, Fender Custom Shop had a Bassman that in a 212 format that they called the Bass Breaker.
Really?
Yeah, it was. I barely ever saw them, and I never got to play one, but it was just a little bit confusing at first. Like, oh, they're bringing that back. All right, interesting anomaly. Then these showed up, and just opened our eyes a bit.
Can't let a good name go to waste.
No, absolutely not. Right. And Fender's done that a couple times, like with the Marauder, and well, it's the only one that comes to mind right now. But I'm sure there's more.
So, and the name kind of suggests almost a combo between a Bassman and a Marshall Bluesbreaker.
Right? Yeah, it does give a hint of that English side, but it's. I mean, hell, weren't a lot of those early English amps, weren't they kind of based off of modified Fender circuits? I could be wrong.
You probably know more about this than I. Very possible.
But I had a brain fart right now. Sorry, guys. I just completely forgot where I was going to go. But I think this will still please the older crowd of players that wanted, or that still, play out their deluxes, their reverbs, their whichever model they have. Because, I mean, again, even though it's a bit on that throatier, grittier side, it's still a Fender.
Yeah.
And that's, I was glad when I picked him up, or when I tried him out, that it didn't strike me as something 100% different. It still retains that Fender chime and quality. But just something for the kids nowadays. I feel old just mentioning that to some degree. But again, that versatility that they designed these with the line outs and cabinet emulation on that line out is pretty bitchin'.
Yeah, that's huge.
Because I mean, nowadays, not everyone has the money to go pick up their studio amp and the amp that they gig out with. So to be able to buy for under $1,000 and starting at $399.99, which ain't bad, you can have your stage and studio amp.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say just adding the cabinet modeling to it is such a cool little feature for recording. Yeah,
no, absolutely, and I mean, like, my friends that have big high gain amps, I've seen the frustration with them when they go into the studio where
you try to record it with a microphone and
yeah. And you have to set it a good, couple feet away, or hell, even the other side of the room if you want a nice big room sound, but you can't get that direct, cranked orange, tough to get a 100-watt orange at that top end.
Yeah.
Recorded without, blown away, or without surpassing the SPL ability of the mic or anything like that. So as we're seeing more amps roll out with the direct outs,
or if you're tracking with several people at once, that this is one of the songs I recorded maybe a couple of years ago where we were all playing together, and I was trying to get my amp to break up at the high end. We shoved it into a separate isolated room. We threw a bunch of fire blankets on top of it. We tried to dampen it as much as we can, so it's because it would just bleed into everything. But the sound was magnificent. It was running it on clean,
yeah,
but like all the way up almost. And it just I want that sound. That's what I want on the record.
And then you can't stuff it into a corner all the time in a studio. I mean, and you might end up at a studio that doesn't have an ISO room, or especially if you're trying to go with a more budget friendly studio, they might only have one, their control room and the live room.
This was kind of how it was. There was an isolated room for the vocalist.
Yeah.
But I had to just shove it into like a closet and throw a bunch of fire blankets on top of it.
It worked out though, right?
Yeah. It ended up sounding great, but probably, just running that sound with a cabinet emulation would have probably saved a lot of headaches.
A lot of pain, right? Yeah. I would also like that you could switch the impedance on these. So I mean, you don't have to buy the matching cab now. You can just put it with whatever you want.
Yeah, that's excellent.
Now did you wait on your F50? Is that a closed back or
open?
It is open back.
Yeah.
So how, listening to this with the time you have had on it, how'd you feel about that semi-open back sound?
I dig it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the open cabinet sound a bit. I was almost gonna say more treble response, but it's much more. Well, I hate to reuse the word, but open.
Yeah.
And you go for especially the metal guys will go for a closed back cab for the tightness on the low end to get that real. What's the term now? Gent. That ching. My corny way of doing it. But I have a cab at home. that is convertible on the back. It's 3 panels, and you can make it completely closed, semi-open, or completely open. And I tend to keep it closed, but because my other Earthquaker cab is completely open, I've been messing around with semi-open or closed in combination, and I found myself drifting, even unplugging the my open cab and trying out my that convertible cab with a semi-open, and I never really thought about it in like the 6-7 years that I've had that, but it's I haven't noticed it as a trend or anything like that, but it's definitely a different sound that well, at least I wasn't that familiar with, and I tend to not check the backs of amps aside from what controls I have on the panel.
Yeah,
but it's a different option, and I can't think. I can't think off the top of my head if I know any major known amps that are semi-open. Someone's probably screaming at the radio right now with suggestions, but it's definitely a different sound, somewhere in between. But you can still get a tight low end, which is cool. Like on the 45 combo or on the 15 combo. That you can set it on the high gain structure and still have the good. I don't know. I don't know if a lot of metal bands or heavier bands are going to be picking these up, but excuse me. At least you can still retain some low end if you happen to pick this up and want to play something heavier.
Do you know what the acoustics behind that actually are? Like how does the closed cabinet allow for more bottom?
I wish I did.
It can't escape, I guess. It can't escape out of a
it must be a resonance thing. I'm thinking
like it's the wood, right? Is it?
Yeah, that it's instead of something escaping out the back with a closed back cabinet, it's everything is vibrating through it and coming right out the front.
Right, bouncing off the back and coming out the front.
Yeah. That's my best guess. I not an acoustician, although I wish I was, because I'd be making a lot more money these days.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I could definitely be wrong on that. You're right. But yeah, they in the extension cabs that are available, they are all, as I mentioned earlier, just semi-open, nothing closed. But I mean, it's working well for it. And I haven't seen anyone out there on stage with it yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing them pop up a bit more. And I don't know if they like with the Offset series, they have I forgot her name from wow. My caffeine's not working, guys. I'm so sorry. Not remembering the names today. Alicia from wow.
Doom, 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 doom.
Oh wow, and I love this band, and I can only remember her name, but she's been playing the Offsets lately. I almost feel like I should jump to my phone, but you're starting to see people pick up the new Fenders and get nice. We're gonna have to make that a hit whenever I have a brain fart like this. There we go. Bully. That helped. That helped me out. Yeah, like Alicia from Bully has been picking up the new Fender Offsets and playing with them, and I'm sure that people are going to be taken, and you're going to start seeing some of these bass breakers out there. But did you feel that it's very close to a Marshall in terms of tone?
I really haven't played many Marshalls in a while. I used to have one when I was younger. I haven't played one in a long time.
Oh, right on.
So I'm not sure. Probably, I don't. From what I remember playing him, it's been a while. I think it still has more of a Fender flavor to it than a Marshall, I would say.
Yeah.
But it does sound different from your standard kind of blackface.
Yeah. And even I was looking around to see what the response has been to these on some of the guitar forums, and people were saying about the 45, you change those EL34s to KT66s. It's pretty much a JTM 45 almost. Mm-hmm. But it's I can see what they mean, but I haven't had a chance to try out the 45 myself, but it's still that English crunch. I don't know how else to put it. I hate reusing cliched terms for tone, which I'm very guilty of and will be over the entire course of this show. So
when someone invents something better than English crunch, we could change terminology.
I wonder if that would be a delicious breakfast cereal. English
crunch.
English crunch. Captain Crunch's cousin from across the pond. But I mean, despite the comparisons that we're making, I mean, they still retain that Fender quality to them, and these are so affordable. Like I said, starting at $399.99, going all the way up to $999.99 to get yourself, a accessible, clean. It can break up and do blues, or you can get a pretty heavy, good hard rock sound out of them. Fender has done something pretty damn rad here. I'm liking what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
And they've been popular around the shop for all the variety. If you ever go to our location, Pitbull Audio in National City, we do have a variety of amps in the showroom, and we got all kinds of stuff to try. But whenever me or any of the other employees or our tech is trying stuff out, especially our tech, Sean, we'll have him on at some point soon. When he fixes a guitar or the electronics, he comes out and he tests it on the Bassbreaker 15 in front of me. And it's been a great go-to for us lately. We're loving them.
Because of the versatility, I assume, kind of tried in all different variations of it.
Yeah. From clean to seeing how, whatever mod or pickup change that a customer has ordered, to try it through, 3 different gain stages. Mm-hmm. And actually, since they've arrived in the store, the Jaguar Baritone only very recently in our most recent arrival of Fenders, but since the Mustang 90 has arrived, is one of my favorites. And I hadn't been looking at solid body guitars for purchase in a while.
Really?
Yeah.
Into hollows?
Semi-hollow at least, which actually, while we're on it, I'm pretty much looking at a Fender Starcaster, because that a offset semi-hollow, I'm going to repeat it over and over again how much I love the sexiness of offset guitars, which both of these in here today are, but seeing like Johnny Greenwood in Radiohead play them as a kid, wow, that thing is awesome. I want one. Could never afford them, and now they're there. But these two right here, the Mustang 90 and the Baritone Jazzmaster especially, have piqued up my interest, and especially with a drummer friend of mine. I play in another band with him called Edges, which you'll hear about eventually soon. It's still getting off the ground. But where I've been wanting to do something, just the drummer, me, and a duo, and this... there
you go. You don't need a bass player.
Yeah, exactly.
A bunch of useless flakes anyway.
But yeah, this thing is just awesome. And I like, most baritone guitars are at like 26.5 or 27 to 27 or 28-inch scales to help with the tension of heavier strings. But I like that it's on the 30-inch scale, like on the Bass 6. It's I don't know why. I just like longer necks on guitars, like that. Starting with the Fender Strata 25.5-inch scale, I just got used to that. And even though my main guitar right now is 24-inch scale Gibson-y, I've been loving the tension and feel of the long neck. And yeah, if you're listening, Squire, I really like this thing a lot. You guys did a cool job. And I'm sorry, go ahead.
Are these both, I saw that one was made in Mexico. This one
let me check on the back of that. Crafted in Indonesia. And it was, go ahead.
And the pickups, it says designed by Duncan?
Yeah. They are Seymour Duncan designed Jazzmaster single coils. And like I said,
great job.
Oh yeah, and they. I love the sound of the Bass 6, and it's got 3 Jaguar single coils on them usually. But actually, Fender did a version that Pawn Shop series a few years back. They did a version of the Bass 6 with a Jazzmaster single coil in the bridge, and that's been my favorite incarnation of the Bass 6. I just think the Jazzmaster pickup is great for. A lot of the low tune guys go for humbuckers or high output pickups, but there's something to be said about a slick single coil and big, clean, open strings.
Yeah, for sure. And can I take a look at that?
Absolutely.
I'm also kind of tripping out on the bridge design on this.
Yeah. We were confused by it at first, but it lifts the strings up and keeps that tension going. And also, I know I don't know how Paul and Florentino feel about the finish, but I love Antigua. I don't know. I think it appeared in like the 70s with Fender, but I love the finish.
Here we go. Need a bass player.
No.
Got this.
Let me try something on the EQ a little bit, just for the doing chords on it.
Do?
Oh, I turned the treble up a little bit, the mid down and bass down a little bit, so I got a little bit more clarity.
This is great. It's awesome.
Right?
Yeah, nice and chunky bottom.
Yeah.
I almost feel like this is a floating.
Right? Yeah.
It looks like one, but it's not.
For you guys that can't see, it's kind of raised at an angle, the bridge a little bit, and even I tried to push it back in, probably not for the best when we first pulled it out, but it works for it. It's you can still palm mute on it, and it definitely just works with it to keep that tension, but keep it nice and clear and crisp and clear. But I mean, you get most players out there and aware of baritones and aware of the bass sixes, but it's cool to see something in the middle. And I mean, hell, the more variety available in instruments, the merrier. Be it your standard guitars, baritones of any assortment, tenors, whatever you want. Get creative with it.
This is great. Going up high on the neck, I really dig doing kind of like single note funk stuff. And because the strings are so chunky and thick down here, this is like, I love the sound.
And you can still get some high out of there, man. It's great.
You could still do a solo on this.
Totally, yeah.
Now I want one of these.
Yeah, right?
This is a problem.
That's what it did to like half of us in the store. We were like, oh, what's this thing? Oh, that is awesome.
This show traumatizes me every week.
Yeah, dude. You should try working it at Pitbull Audio. Like every time a new effect or new guitar rolls in, I just get excited. Like, oh, I can feel my wallet bleeding. I can already feel it bleeding. I can't buy anymore.
You should probably just cut out the checks and just have them pay you in pedals.
Yeah, I'm gonna start doing yard work and car washing, guys, to actually pay my rent. I'm gonna just start handing over my checks back to the bosses so I can just buy everything.
Yeah, might as well. Save yourself a trip to the bank.
Yeah, right. As you just heard with Paul playing, I mean, it's not just post-punk or heavy players that can use the Jazzmaster Baritone or Bass 6. You can work it well and get something different out of it, just a different timbre altogether.
Yeah, very versatile. And I imagine it probably sounds pretty rad with a bass player as well, if you're both kind of doing like...
Yeah. Yeah, with that doubling sort of thing with someone with an actual bass player on a low register and this sitting high above it. I mean, the idea of like a double bass player with a viola over it. Mm-hmm. That's how I always kind of looked at the bass sixes and baritones, like a viola if you're going to, double bass, cello, or even a cello, I guess, either or, maybe closer to a cello. I don't know my string comparisons.
Yeah, it's funny with guitars that there's really not, aside from this, there's your regular guitar and the bass, and really, saxophones come in like, 5 different registers, like you were saying, the string instruments, the cellos and all of that, and guitars kind of just got stuck into, I guess maybe if you're a bass player and you're playing like one of those ridiculous 12 strings where you can go through like 40 octaves on it.
Yeah. There's some players who make it work though. But yeah, you guys want a different variety? Come on into Pitbull Audio, pick up this vintage modified Jazzmaster Baritone and plug it into this Bass Breaker. See what you think.
You're going to start fiending like I'm fiending.
Yeah, I'll cut y'all of you on it.
Perfect.
Thanks again, guys.
Yep. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back next time we don't have a plan yet, but we'll think of something cool to demo. So tune in next time. Sharpen the Axe, EnterTalkRadio.com. We'll see you next time.
You know what's all around you every waking moment of your life? Marketing. You're choking on it. I'm Scott Robertson, and when it comes to strategic PR, branding, and marketing, I've seen it all. And actually, I'm still seeing it because bad marketing never sleeps. Join me each week on May the Best Brand Win, right here on EnterTalk Radio, and learn how to make the marketing for your brand unforgettable.
Hi, this is Tim Dolbear from Eclectica Studios. I'm a full-time mixing and recording engineer. I work with Grammy winners, labels, and indie artists, using state-of-the-art digital mixing and restoration tools and the very best in analog gear. Really, though, it's my ability to bring tracks to life and fulfill your vision for your music. This has made me sought after by producers and artists worldwide. So spend your time working on music and not chasing a mix down a rabbit hole. Go to timdolbear.com and check out our free one-song mix offer.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
This is Jackie Baritone from Jackie's Groove. Come join me weekly on my journey through the music business as I take you behind the velvet rope, interviewing industry notables such as Al Di Meola, Michael McDonald, and Al Jarreau, to name but a few. Listen to their stories on being in the studios recording #1 hits and onto the stages throughout the globe. Allow me to be your music historian. You can hear me live every Monday at 2 p.m. and every Wednesday at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time or 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com. Ready to get your groove